Welcome to the Goalpost, the podcast where it's all about long-term player development. We're here to talk soccer through a different lens, one that puts the players before the scoreboard and progress before pressure. This is all youth soccer with a purpose. All development, all the time. I'm your host, Jason Glover. Welcome back to the Goalpost. We train with a lot of heart, a lot of passion. We build with time. It's all development all the time. There's a TikTok, or maybe it was a Twitter post that I recently saw that hasn't really left me, and I wanted to share it because I think that it probably relates to everyone in the club and what everyone is going through raising children. And it was a post from John Delaney who shared it, and it was originally from Jack Black, of all people, which I love Jack Black, but hilarious character, comedian, etc. But the simplicity of it is what makes it so powerful. And what he said was, don't try to make a happy kid happier. And it sounds relatively easy, but if you're a parent, you know how hard that actually is. Because when we see our kids happy, our instinct isn't to pause, it's to optimize. We think, how do I protect this moment? How do I level it up? How do I make sure this lasts forever? Sound familiar? So we add more structure, more schedules, more expectations, more opportunity. And without realizing it, we disrupt the very thing that was working. So think about it. And some parents in the club have really little kids, like sub, 6, 7 years old. And then we have parents that have kids that are, first year of high school. So collectively, though, everyone has experienced what I'm going to explain. And I want you to imagine a time when one of your children was in the backyard and maybe you were looking through the window and you're just observing. And maybe your child has a soccer ball. Maybe, obviously, there's probably not an agenda. They're just out there. They're kicking the ball around, shooting on the net. There's no scoreboard. They're just playing. And instead of most likely joining them, we pull them away. And so we trade presence, meaning joining them, for production. Now, here's where this really matters, especially right now. Because I think that every team, every player, every club in the country outside of the MLS Next folks, everyone's going through changes. New teams, new expectations, new roles, new environments, all, on the forefront in August. And new pressure, whether it's spoken or unspoken, there's going to be new pressure. And when change shows up, kids don't need more intensity. They need stability. They need to know that they're wanted in this environment, in this club, on this team, that they belong here, and that they're allowed to grow at their own pace, and that they're not being evaluated every second. So a stable athletic environment doesn't mean nothing changes. It means the foundation doesn't move. So one of the mistakes that we can make, both in parenting and in sports, is trying to drag that old version of things back into the present time. So think of this situation. Before you had kids, you and your spouse, there's a connection there, and there's a life without kids. And when your kids are born, your life isn't over. It's just different. There's magic, but it's not the same magic as previous, no kids to now one child. So the magic changes because you enjoy having now a newborn, and you and your spouse are learning together how to raise a child. So you trade spontaneity for meaning, because when you're without children, you can go away for a weekend, you can plan a trip, you're pretty mobile. When you have a child, all of a sudden you trade all of that spontaneity for now purpose and meaning. Your child is your purpose, your child is your meaning. So freedom before for purpose with child. Silence, being able to sit at home. I can tell you, as a almost empty nester, I'm very close to being an empty nester. Silence for connection. Silence meaning you can sit without children in your living room for an hour and no one bothers you. With children, you don't sit ever in silence because there's always something happening. That's the connection that you have with your children. But when we resist that shift, when we keep chasing what used to be, that's where we create friction. And the same thing happens in youth sports. We want kids to grow, but we want them to stay comfortable. We want development, but we want immediate proof that the development is working. We want our kids to be happy, but only if it looks productive. Oh man, that tension is exhausting. We want kids to be happy, but only if it looks productive. So free play doesn't look productive. Kids are happy. What we don't understand as adults is free play. Kids happy. Kids are learning exponentially at a higher level with the way that the brain works. They're learning more through free play, playing with their teammates, than doing structured exercises at all ages in the club. It's a fact. Your brain performs better when it's engaged. Free play, you're playing. You're making up the rules as they go. You're competing, you're arguing, you're solving issues. So it's weird that we have to see production, but that's not how it works. So this tension that we're creating, that we don't even know we're creating, because we see kids out there and we go, hey, they're goofing off. And you go, well, like they're 12 years old. Like what do we expect? They're 6. They are children. That's what is supposed to happen. It goes back to the theory of when they're in the yard and you disrupt it, you disrupt the happiness because you want to make it productive. You go, hey, well, we should go do something about this. You look like you really enjoy it. And we disrupt it, right? So here's the truth. Kids don't grow because everything is perfect. They grow because the environment is stable enough to handle imperfection. And that's why free play works. And we're doing a lot of it in the winter for the boys' side and the girls' side from 2015 to 2019. So game-based learning works. Unstructured moments matter most, meaning like the ball goes out of bounds, everyone agrees that keep playing, or they agree that it's a turnover. That's the excitement. That's the adrenaline. That's where kids are learning. But we take it away and we go, that was out of bounds. We need rules. But we don't need rules in a sporting environment, in a development environment. Because stability isn't control. Stability is trust. We're trying to create stability. So when a child knows that they won't be punished for their mistakes, they won't lose their place for struggling, they won't be rushed just because others are, you know what starts to happen? They expand. They start to blossom. They relax. And when they relax, learning, through the roof. So right now, as things shift and evolve, our job as a club and our partnership with our parents is not to tighten the grip. For any golf enthusiasts, you know, if you hold your golf club too tight, it doesn't really work. It doesn't align with the physics of swinging a golf club. You got to loosen up the grip. So we need to widen the base in the club. We need to understand that every player has time. And you don't need to prove anything today. You're allowed to enjoy free play or a design training session. And we're allowed to see the messy part of it. The stuff that just you go, God, that was a terrible training session. That's okay. Because fear kills the happiness faster than failure ever will. Fear makes kids play safe. It makes parents over-direct. It makes coaches control instead of guide. And once that happiness is gone, development stops. So as we're stepping into what's next, new seasons, new teams, new paths, ask yourself, is my child happy at training? Not based on what you want, but do you see them competing and laughing and enjoying their sessions or their futsal games? And if they're already happy, don't rush it. You can't put toothpaste back in the tube. So once it's out, it's out. Don't overcorrect. And don't try to upgrade the happiness and try to extract everything out, because that turns into pressure. So my advice is join your child in their quest for happiness in this sport. Be present. I love that parents watch training. I love it. I don't care that parents are there or not there, but I love to see parents watching their children. And I hope that the watch is to be present and to enjoy your child and their growth moment of being a little kid, because years from now, when soccer's gone and all of your schedules are quiet, they're not going to remember the structure. They're going to remember how they felt. And that's what's more important. Culture. How do people feel when they're in this club? And do they understand how much the club cares for the players? Thanks for listening to the Goalpost. As everything changes, remember what doesn't change. We train, we build with time. It's all development all the time. I'm really glad you joined us today on the Goalpost. Raising and supporting young players isn't always easy, but choosing to focus on their growth, their joy, and their character, now that's the right thing to do. You might not see the results right away, but every small moment you invest makes a big difference in your child's life. And remember, all development, all the time. That's not just a motto, it's a promise. We'll be here next time cheering with you.